Hello. If this is the first time you've joined us, welcome to the Canting Club. I'm really excited this week to be able to bring you a Japanese white, and one made from grapes, not from rice. In fact, this one's made from Japan's signature grape, the Koshu, which is unique to the country. The first thing I notice about this is how extraordinarily pale it is. This might be the palest white I've ever tasted. It's almost water white. There's a really delicate saline nose here, mostly of white pepper, but there's also hints of fennel. And as it warms up, there's an even more minerally scent joins in. It smells like still damp plaster, really quite unique. That's so light-bodied it's almost ethereal. It tastes really fresh and clean. It's like licking lemon juice off stones in a mountain stream. There's something very alpine about this wine, which is appropriate because it does come from high altitude. On the mid-palate, all that lemony freshness is joined by a peppery flavour like radish. Well, particularly like those mild French breakfast radishes you eat with a dip of salt, because there's something salty about this too. But in fact, it might be more like daikon, the white Japanese radish that looks like a giant white carrot that they shave into strands and serve as a garnish with sashimi. That peppery, salty daikon flavour persists into the finish, which is really rather long, surprisingly so, for such a delicate wine. This is what people mean when they talk about minerality in a white, or what they ought to mean. It's a much overused term, but this wine definitely has it. There's no fruits or flowers here, just salty wet stones and white pepper. It would be really appropriate with Japanese delicate cuisine like sushi and sashimi, which was presumably the intention. The Koshu grape from which this was made has been grown in Yamanashi Prefecture in the shadow of Mount Fuji, where this one comes from, for almost 1,000 years. But for almost all that time, it's been grown purely as a table grape for eating. Winemaking only began in Japan in the 1870s. This one was made by Grace Wines, a small family-owned winery who've been championing the local grape, and have been leading the drive to find the best places to plant it and the best vinification methods to use to emphasise its qualities as a wine rather than as the table grape it used to be. Koshu has thick skins which are usefully rot resistant in Japan's humid summers, but do tend to impart bitterness into the resulting wine. So the juice for this one was run straight off the skins after pressing to eliminate that, and that explains why it's so pale. That juice was then fermented in stainless steel at low temperature with rigid exclusion of oxygen to preserve the freshness, and then aged in stainless steel tanks in contact with its lees for 5 months before being bottled straight off them, sur lie, just like a muscadet. This much resembles a muscadet, although it makes even that wine taste overtly fruity. But it has a purity and a precision that more than compensate for that. I find it really appropriate that such a refined and understated wine is Japanese. It has a zen-like sense of composure about it. Cheers.